closer, because as we saw yesterday with Vladi, Lee Song-soo's too dangerous when he has time. Even on some of the softer spinny balls, the initiation is going to have to be there. It's going to have to be a dart of a shot, a bullet from Wong Chun Ting. He had his serve for both of those points and couldn't convert either of them. Lee Song-soo breaking serve. Nice change of pace. Fast long serve, slightly softer third ball attack.
Sometimes unusual when you see the first serve that they've done to be a fast one. Normally it's short or half long.
Yeah, that's right. I heard I think Jean-Mi say 80% of the serves half long at this level. Again, that hooking forehand creating the angles. Now, because Lee Song-soo is taking the ball much earlier than Wong Chun Ting, he's able to control the angles better. He's got wider options, and he's using them wisely. Not a point dropped yet for the Korean player. On the receive now. That's just too solid. Not a bad serve at all from Wong Chun Ting. Light spin.
That was fantastic, wasn't it? Touch play there, really a hot, strong flick. And at this stage, any loose ball they're in.
And once again, the touch. We've talked about the over the table from the flip. Now on the receive, he's able to keep it short to the forehand. Wong Chun Ting is going to have to find some new strategies here in his receive game and mix it up, I think, a bit in his serve as well. Maybe a fast long serve from time to time from Wong Chun Ting. Right onto the elbow, maybe into the body on the backhand side. There we go.
Placement. He's off the scoreboard. That was good placement into the body by Wong. To be fair, he's trying all sorts, but nothing seems to be working for him as yet.
And now this is going to be, you know, the game's not over yet, but he will have a minute to talk between games with the coach. And Lu Guodong is probably collecting a lot of ideas right now for how to back Lee Song-soo off the table. And that's going to go down as an unforced error. Wong Chun Ting with the mid-speed ball to his forehand. He makes that shot 90% of the time, maybe more. Now, we were talking about Fan Zhendong's sweet spot and sort of the fact that he can reach the ball very well and still hit a powerful shot. Wong Chun Ting, much bigger than most on the backhand side, is able to counter confidently as well.
Yeah, he's very confident with his backhand. As you said earlier, he's equally good with his backhand and forehand.
Now, I normally know him to be incredibly fast, which is why he's often so comfortable off the table. It looks like there's something he doesn't trust right now in his right leg. I could be wrong completely, but the movement there was oddly not typical of Wong Chun Ting. Beautiful counter. Again, that sweet spot on the backhand side is big, and he lunges out and punches it back. Wow, what a recovery, spilling it out on the table. Love to see a replay of that. He had to get so far in on the forehand side to reach that ball as it bit the net.
He picked that up well, he obviously read it. Get in. Oh, and you can see it just bounce off to the side.
Oh, and this time the break goes the way of Wong Chun Ting. He got the point before on the recovery. Big point to stop the momentum. I remember 9-3 on the scoreboard. And now it's 4 game points for Lee Song-soo to take the first in this best-of-7 quarterfinal match. I like Lee Song-soo's, I'd say, presence out there right now. Very positive attitude when he missed that shot. Wasn't a lot of frustration.
Well, you've got to forget those points and think about the next one.
And the next one it was 11-7. Lee Song-soo takes the first game. Wong Chun Ting trailing, and we'll be back for game 2 right after this. And as the players come back to the table for game 2, we had a chance to see which part of the table they're using the most. And what it looked like was Wong Chun Ting tends to be playing the deep center of the table for Lee Song-soo. The other way around is going wide to the wings and short to the center of the table on Wong Chun Ting's side from Lee Song-soo.
You would have thought, though, with playing to the middle, then he could play either wing. It's difficult. You think he would play a bit more onto the wing as opposed to just playing here?
Right, typically that is the setup, play to the middle and then open up the wings, get someone off balance, turning around. Nice confident counter from Wong Chun Ting, and a bit of fire there as well. The chole coming out. Like to see the passion and the high energy play. And that's something we lacked in game 1. In some matches, people come out right away, Tomokazu Harimoto. Every point could be the last point. And you do play every point, right? You play to win every point. You focus on that one specifically, and then your job is done, and you have a new job of getting the next point. So solid over the table with that forehand flip kill.
Just popped up just a little bit there, and he stepped in. Made that winner. Anything loose, either player will be looking to punish it.
And punished it was. Forehand flip comes off the table, but well anticipated. Lee Song-soo with the fast footwork. I think that's one of the key ingredients as well, that not only does he have the strength and the wrist speed, but his feet get him to the ball so quickly. He doesn't have to leave early. He covers his ground very well. Smart combination right into the body, gets Wong Chun Ting standing upright to turn the corner and plays it right off the bounce the opposite way.
That's how quick he played that ball, right off the bounce. Great angle as well.
.74 kilometers per hour.
I heard yesterday there was one at 114.
I heard that as well, and I'm skeptical.
That was by Timo Boll,
right.
Apparently.
We saw it on screen that he had hit an 83 kilometer per hour shot as well, but 114 would just put everything else to shame we've seen this tournament. Beautiful backhand down the line. That's the backhand that's been missing from this match. An unpredictable backhand parallel. Now, when we think about reverse penhold backhands, the player who was most famous for it, of course, Wang Hao, who's here as a coach for Fan Zhendong and others, he could go anywhere on the table with that backhand, and from even deep off the table hit a winner. Wong Chun Ting is the closest I've seen to that. That was the first shot to demonstrate it.
Backhand again, short touch play. Played that backhand down the line.
You know, it's interesting how players have different spirits when they're here at the tournaments. Ma Long and some of the top Chinese players have their headphones on, stay very focused, and they don't want to socialize with anybody during the tournament. Lee Song-soo, I saw in the practice hall before his match with Vladi, and he was just like, hey, what's up? And came over, big high five. It was just, I don't know, seems very relaxed and comfortable. Wong Chun Ting similarly.
But then when they get to the match situation, it's love all, then they both got their head headgear on.
Right, it's all business once the match starts. Even before, I ask a lot of the players I'm interested, what's going through their head during the 2-minute warm-up? And despite that shot going wide, what are you thinking?
I was just saying, I think they're visualizing how they're going to win points and play points against, they know their tactics against their opponent. But I think if you're visualizing, you're winning a point either from serve, third ball. So they've got that positive vibe in their head.
And well, that's probably the case as well. The most common thing I heard was getting into rhythm, relaxing, shaking off the nerves. Even some of the best players in the world I talked to said, nervous. I'm nervous, trying to be calm and cool.
Yeah, but I think you've got to have a little bit of nerves in your tummy to get the adrenaline going.
That's right.
If you're too relaxed, then maybe you're not pumped up to play. So
right.
It's getting that right balance.
If nervousness is just energy, you have two choices for how it can affect you, right? You can let it pump you up and make you excited, or you could also make it a fear thing and become hesitant or concerned. Tighten up. Speaking of which, 2 points for Lee Sang-soo after being down 4-9. That's a very difficult ball. Tries to play the short side of the table at full extension with the forehand reach without leaving the table too much. Ooh, and a service error. Heavy side spin makes it right off the side of the net. 3 game points for Wong Chun Ting.
You don't see that very often, do you?
There's that flip again, placement down the line. Now at the third towel break of the game, I've watched Wong Chun Ting play a lot over the years, and as I mentioned, the undershorts, the biking shorts, and also an undershirt. I don't know if he's feeling a little cold or what the deal is, but it's not too many players we see wearing undershirts while playing, and I can't recall seeing Wong Chun Ting do it. Lee Sang-soo saves one more from 4-9 to back 9-10. I mean, Jill, this morning, Xu Xin came back against 5 match points for Lin Gaoyuan and won the match. I mean, it was devastating for Lin Gaoyuan and just amazing for Xu Xin. We've got a timeout in game number 2. This is a very early timeout, but an important one. Lu Guodong using his experience, saying, look, we need to capture this. Can't afford to be down 0-2 and let Lee Sang-soo play freely for the rest of this match. So what do you think the conversation is right now in the Hong Kong corner, Jill?
Well, it's sort of a game. It's up and down the game. I mean, he comes out with some incredible shots and then some silly errors, you know, basic little things. So I don't know if all is hunky-dory in the corner with his he's got a very heavy bandage on his leg.
Yeah, and we saw early on that the way he was moving around was just brought up some concern either way. You can see that most of the serves there have been played short. Wong Chun Ting trying to play middle of the table forehand. Now in general, from a penhold serve, maybe this is just me reading the statistic wrong, but more typically middle of the table backhand from the pendulum serve. One more game point for Wong Chun Ting. And the flip goes long. He just looks a little bit slow to come in. I'm really curious to get word on if there are injuries. But a big point, Lee Sang-soo from down 4-9. Again, he's up 1-0. There wouldn't have been a timeout called if this wasn't a crucial point in the match.
He did seem very tentative as he went in to take that flick.
Excellent counter, a little bit of side spin on it as well, and you can hear him. 3 big choles trying to keep himself pumped up. He can still take this game. He's got another game point.
We say that about his movement, and then he comes and plays a rally like that, playing backhand and forehand, so he's able to move around the table okay, whether it's that movement into the table short.
And he takes the game. For me, that was actually a more impressive physical movement point than the one before. The one before, he hung into the rally and waited for the opportunity, got the upper body. Now we're seeing faster movement. We're seeing more aggressive shots in the counters, a little bit more explosive energy from Wong Chun Ting. Trying to play to the short side of the table off the hooking side spin. Just missing the edge. He's covering the ground better, though. He gets to the wide forehand. So it's not the first time we've seen Lee Song-soo take the first 2 points against serve. And that's a tough shot.
Yeah.
I mean, from in front of the body with the penhold grip, using sort of that outside receive action we see for a strawberry, just keeps him falling away from the table. Not enough ground. I guess too much ground to cover, I should say.
Well, he left it open there as well, wide on the forehand. Nice off the bounce there.
Yeah, he really kept his weight forward, took it earlier. Now, you were mentioning earlier that we were trying to surmise a little bit what might be happening physically, but Jill, you said that Wong Chun Ting has just been a little bit slow to come in over the table for some of these.
Yes, he appears to be a bit tentative, but he's moving well side to side. But, I mean, we're just surmising here.
Well, those are fair. I mean, those we see, right? I guess we're surmising any possible injury or something. Who knows what's really happening, but we have observed what you just said. Very fired up Lee Song-soo does not want to get that close to winning and not take the game like he did last. So with the first towel break, firepower from Lee Song-soo, and Wong Chun Ting trying to find his. But again, positioning and in over the table, such a huge factor. The first 2 shots of the rally are by far the most important.
Ooh, puts a long one in there. Just keeps Wong guessing. It's good to have variation on service, not only speed, but spin, direction.
Well anticipated, and quite honestly, while he was keeping Wong Chun Ting guessing, the point before he guessed right, he turned quickly. Maybe it's not even guess, he just simply moved quickly, got around, but made the adjustment on the second one to get a little bit more lift on a fast, relatively dead serve. I can't recall so many backhands that have won points for Wong Chun Ting. He had the down-the-line shot earlier in game 2, I think. But it's really a key ingredient for him, and he's just the rhythm. He hasn't found it yet against Lee Song-soo's pace. This time he's in over the table for the forehand flip kill.
Good third ball there.
And set up nicely, going short to the forehand side, getting a little bit of a late response from Lee Song-soo. This is the power, and this is the Wong Chun Ting that I know. Aggressive and confident near the table.
There was a good angle on the forehand side, and then next one straight into the middle.
Deceptive underspin on the pendulum serve. Lee Song-soo's serves have been very effective as well the last few matches I've seen from him. I don't think of him as a player. When I think Lee Song-soo, I think big backhands, I think flip kills, and I think counter loops on the run. I think cannon from both sides, but inconsistent. Nice placement, the high ball. Wong Chun Ting waiting to see which side Lee Song-soo favors and then play into the body.
Yeah, service popped up there, and he followed in.
So now just a 2-point game, 6-8. Lee Song-soo hanging on to the lead. He's played a lot of high-risk shots in rally and also on serve, from the 2 in a row deep to the backhand corner, just keeping Wong Chun Ting guessing, being unpredictable. But that one, the amount of reaction time, it was so fast for Wong Chun Ting to move over to the forehand, step around and try to get that banana receive. It looked like there was a bit of a guess that worked out in his favor.
I must be disappointed with that one. Not really put under a lot of pressure there.
Four game points for Lee Song-soo. And the comeback starts 1 point at a time. Wong Chun Ting saving 1 game point. Now this is one of my favorite things. I've had a chance to face the backhand of Wong Chun Ting, and he manages to get some side spin on it naturally, so it hooks deeper into the backhand corner of his opponent. And there we could see it very effectively trailing off, leaving an uncomfortable ball for Lee Song-soo. This is his second game point saved, and now 2 game points left for Lee Song-soo, but he does have the advantage of service on his side. Little break off the top of the net brings Wong Chun Ting into the table, and Lee Song-soo takes advantage deep to the backhand corner. It's a 2-1 lead for the Korean Lee Song-soo, and we'll be back right after this with Game 4. And we're back for game number 4. Lee Song-soo in control right now, up 2 games to 1. And really almost coming back to steal game number 2 as well. Wong Chun Ting has a lot of pressure, and I think he's going to have to figure out how he can get that aggressive backhand into play early. Serve receive has been real trouble. Credit to Lee Song-soo for the variation. That's the best point I've seen yet, and Lee Song-soo pulls it out. You know, backhand early on, the counter loops from off the table. Spanish Open 2015 is where I saw Wong Chun Ting really shine, and he can run around so well, consistently looping. Where did that come from? Look at this placement, redirection over the table, going the opposite way into the backhand corner this time.
Yeah, that was a good one straight down the line. Service following.
I feel like we've seen the forehand flip kill from Lee Song-soo cross court wide to the forehand. But if he keeps Wong Chun Ting guessing like that, it's going to be really tough for the Hong Kong player to get in the point. Breaking the pattern once again. He's testing him shorter to the forehand side, or more to the forehand side, I should say. Second serve here for Wong Chun Ting. And it feels like he's testing out different parts of the table. I wouldn't be surprised to see a long serve to the backhand, but where he's standing, it's tough. Lee Song-soo's stance, he's turned the corner almost like Yoo Sung-min, like a J-Pen player who really wants that forehand. Lee Song-soo makes it almost impossible to serve long to his backhand. Top of the net it seemed, but 2 rocket backhands confidently from Lee Song-soo.
A good placement. Middle backhand. Trying to keep him guessing.
Not sure if there was a service. There was a service warning here. The arc of the ball needs to be tossed nearly vertical. The warning was the ball had been tossed backwards into the body. And a little bit less so here. But immediately Lee Song-soo's serve gets away from him. This is common. When you get a service warning, suddenly your focus changes. You're trying to avoid the call, make sure that you don't get a point faulted, but the quality of serve often suffers a little bit as a result.
Yeah, because I think you're thinking about it more as opposed to just doing it automatically.
Right. Smart play, Wong Chun Ting with a high ball, watches his opponent and takes his time to play it down the line into the backhand. Just a 1-point game here. 80-kilometer-per-hour shot. Outstanding point right at the baseline for the second to last, and Lee Song-soo tested all over. Wong Chun Ting, you can see both of the wings there, and he still tries to turn the corner, does it successfully. The fishing game. The bounce right at the back, and finally a counter backhand that misses. See the vein right next to the eyebrow. Look how big that bulging vein was. Lee Song-soo just pumping. The head gets really hot for some of these points.
That's the best rally we've had so far in this match.
Oh, yeah. Fired up again non-stop. He's on his way to 3-1 if he keeps up this performance. You know, when we think about the fire for Wong Chun Ting, he just hasn't had a lot of opportunities to celebrate. He's won 3 points this game, and this has been the trend with the exception of game 2. Well placed. You know, we talk about positioning. I was talking earlier about how Lee Song-soo receives from around the corner. It feels like he's just so fast on his feet, it doesn't leave you a lot of options on the table. With Wong Chun Ting, from where he stands, and he's typically very fast, it seems a little bit slower today than usual, but that could just be in comparison to Lee Song-soo. There it is, aggressive opening. He gets a soft ball from Lee Song-soo, forces him into a little bit of submission and backs him off the table.
Oh, tries to do forehand flick.
That one gets away from him. Sometimes when the ball's not there, the shot isn't sitting high enough and you've already committed to the shot, it's difficult to improvise and change, because if you hit a lukewarm shot, your opponent's going to crush it.
I think he, under pressure, he still feels as though he's got to do something.
Difficult ball to the short side where the net appears taller, blocks a greater percentage of the table. And the depth of that receive is solid too. It's right near the back of the table. Lee Song-soo has just a few options on that ball.
Oh, he reads that well. Saw that one coming, that long serve.
You know, we saw that 2 times in a row, the long serve to the backhand, but I think in the last combination they were both wider to the backhand. This one a little bit more on the body, which allowed Wong Chun Ting a better angle on the way back. Man, is he on fire. You know, we also talk, this match is very much the match. But you start to think about, could Lee Song-soo, if he takes this match, beat some of the top players in the world, the top Chinese players? And the answer is yes, he could. Man, that's the most animated celebration I've seen from Lee Song-soo. Kim Tak-soo on his feet, and there's still some clear communication there. You saw the hands of Kim Tak-soo. That was not just clapping. That was a conversation with this player. Now, since October 1st of 2016, coaches have been allowed to coach in between points. So Kim Tak-soo using it well. One game point saved. 3 left for Lee Song-soo. And just to clarify, the fact that Lee Song-soo could beat the top Chinese players in the world doesn't mean the odds are in his favor, simply that he's capable in ways that maybe other players aren't so capable. For example, he beat Ma Long in 2012, one of the last 3 foreigners to beat Ma Long in the tournament. And the wide serve to the backhand. It's a tempting ball, and Wong Chun Ting tries the short side of the table, but no luck. 11-7, and it's a 3-1 lead for Lee Song-soo of Korea. Stick around, Game 5 coming up right after this. And as we come back for game number 5, looking at the statistics, it became quite clear that Lee Song-soo is taking much better advantage of his serve, really not leaving a lot of options for Wong Chun Ting to get in the points. And if Wong Chun Ting has to gamble in the sense that he's going to hope he takes some rallies mid-rally, he just has to get in earlier with the point and set himself up. Precision in the half-long serve, maybe another touch shot after the flip game.
But I think he's been trying that in the other games, but it's not been successful as he has been in the past.
Right, I guess this is what table tennis engineers have to do, and by table tennis engineers, I mean all the professionals are constantly looking for solutions. It's just amazing how fast Lee Song-soo can get that full arm stroke from over the table. The racket speed, he just generates so much spin and power early in the point before Wong Chun Ting is back far enough to really feel comfortable keeping it in play, and the percentages of countering it are quite low. Smart play, very patient, soft hands near the table and waiting for the opening.
As he opened up well into the body, which is always difficult. Opponent's got to decide whether to play a backhand or a forehand.
Now again, the stance, because Wong Chun Ting is looking to come in and take the banana with the backhand on the forehand side of the table. It leaves open the possibility for that deep serve to the very corner of the backhand side of the table. Well placed, dangling off the back edge, not a lot of comfort room for Lee Song-soo. It almost sounded like a second bounce at the back of the table there. Not sure what I heard, but very impressive touch and knowledge of space, I'd say, for Lee Song-soo.
Well, I think he picked that up well, didn't he? Because it's always difficult whether it's going to be long enough to attack or you have to come in and either flick it or push it.
Right. Now remember, Lee Song-soo has been nicknamed the Giant Slayer this tournament. And for the past few years, and even since 2012, there's a good reason for it. Beautifully right into the body. Again, lets the wrist drag back a little bit behind where the elbow is to redirect the ball and play it into the body. It happened quite fast, but that long-armed stroke really helped him take it a little bit more to the middle of the table. Heavy topspin kicking deep off the back of the table. You know, Korea has a rich history of taking titles. They're the only non-Chinese country to win gold medals, plural, in men's singles. You had Waldner from Sweden, and then you had Yoo Sung-min and Yoo Nam-gyu. Surprise again, Wong Chun Ting starting to go the other way, and Lee Song-soo with the inside-out forehand over the table, the windshield wiper, little side swipe action. I bring up the history of Korea thinking we still have a ways to go, but quarterfinals, this is our first quarterfinal. So.
Yep. This is first quarterfinal.
And the way things are going right now, he's about to be one of the final 4 men in this tournament. We'll see if he could be the next Korean to end up on top of the world. Remember, Joo Se-hyuk played in 2003 in the final against Werner Schlager. That long serve to the backhand is consistently paid off for Lee Song-soo. He mixes it up just enough to keep Wong Chun Ting guessing, but he's using it more frequently than probably anyone I've seen, at the professional level anyway.
Well, that's good serving, isn't it? Deception. That's the name of the game.
Wow, and this time, even with Wong Chun Ting trying to get around it, Lee Song-soo so fast and so deep to the corner. I mean, we look at average service speed as a statistic, and almost consistently, they're very close between the players because 80% of the serves are half long and not about speed. But I would guess Lee Song-soo's service speed has gone way up in this game. Nice after motion on the serve, but it's no problem. And Lee Song-soo looking up at the ceiling. His head is back. He's 1 point away. He's got 7 match points from moving on to the semi-final. Remember, this tournament had 5 top Chinese players in it. To be one of the final 4 players in the tournament will be huge. But not yet. 1 match point saved by Wong Chun Ting. Nice touch from Wong Chun Ting right at the back of the table. Lee Sang-soo, we're going to see a timeout. And we will. Now this is a wise timeout. It's a bit safe. It's early enough. He's lost 2 points in a row after being on fire. And you could see that it got to his spirit. I mean, he was chowing and shouting. It's tough to do that when you're not winning points. But the way he lost the last 2 points, you're concerned if you're Kim Tak-soo in the corner that the head's down, that he's losing a bit of focus, maybe a little bit of confidence is lost. Time to pep talk the player.
Yeah, and that last shot he went for, I think he was trying to finish off. Wants to be 4-1. 4-1 and game over. Prepare for the next game, but you got to get to 11.
Right. That's right. You got to make
or maybe it could be 12-10.
Wow. Well, we saw it from this score earlier on with Xu Xin and Lin Gaoyuan. But that's right. You have to take the last step. You have to actually cross the finish line. And sometimes it's easy to think when you get a really big lead like this, okay, just put it away. But it's a change in mentality. Talking to Lily Zhang during her Ask a Pro Anything, she said, I tell myself in tight moments, 0-0. And there it is. 0-0 becomes 4 games to 1 and a head back in the air. Once again, satisfaction in the Korean corner. The Giant Slayer slaying another giant to add to his collection. World rank number 7, Wong Chun Ting, the number 2 pen holder and the best pen hold backhand in the world, has been knocked out of contention here at the World Championships. Lee Sang-soo with the handshake to the umpires in an incredible performance, only dropping 1 game to world rank number 7, Jill.
No, fantastic game. I'm sure Lee Sang-soo will be pleased with that. He's celebrating with his coach.
Look at that. It looks like he wants to kiss him. You can see it. They were rubbing. I mean, there's so much celebration and so much camaraderie there between these two. This is the second time after beating Zhang Jike.